Ugh, that was horrible. Bear with me 1 second. There we go. Much better now. Fantastic. Well, hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm actually on time for today's live stream, so that makes a nice change. And I even had time to put on a cheeky print before I went live as well. So very happy with that. The print I'm doing today is some vampiric halberdiers. Looking at the FAQ for the old world, I suddenly have a hankering for some more infantry. So let's see how that goes. Of course, I never had vampire halberdiers in the old world. That's because Games Workshop don't know how to write cool units. So there you go. That's why. So what I wanted to do today is crack on with the household cavalry. Having just come back from Waterloo, how could I not want to do these bad boys? So yeah, so it's Napoleonic cavalry today. Where are we? Let me just try and get the video on the old laptopio here. Hello, Gruesome. Hello, Bob Creature. Nice to see you both. There we are. Is it still being a bit funky there on the old camera? What's going on? Let's have a look. Oh no, there we are. All right. Okie dokie. Yeah, it just looks weird. Yes, Gruesome Dread, I got some bad news for you on that one, bro. We couldn't find, I couldn't find a post office in Europe. But do not worry, sir. I have got them at work, and I'm going to post them out. I was going to post them out today, but I did not get a chance. So I will have posted them out by the end of the week. So don't you worry, sir. They will be with you by the middle of next week, with any luck. Yeah, weirdly, I was expecting to find one in Waterloo. And then I thought we didn't, and I was, oh, that's okay. We'll find one in Place Noire. There was a single shop in Place Noire, which I have to say sold absolutely superb, superb ice cream and croissants, according to Dan. Dan had a croissant, so he tells me that they were excellent. But yeah, no, Waterloo and Place Noire are much smaller than I think. Yeah, hopefully it should be middle of next week, towards the end of next week. I don't know how long it's going to take, but yeah, if you keep an eye out for them, then I shall get them posted out. What day is it tomorrow? It's Thursday tomorrow, so possibly tomorrow or maybe Friday. It depends on what's happening at work. It's been a bit crazy at the moment because we're changing our IT systems. Right, so what I'm going to start off with today is we're going to snip these arms off. We're going to get them on El Horcios, and then we'll take it from there. Hello from hot and steamy Tennessee. Oh, mate, it is humid here. It is very, very humid here. I'll get ready for the game. Yeah, I will send them first class, Gruesome. Don't you worry about that, buddy. They will be sent out first class. Yeah, it's very, very humid here. It's very unpleasant. I saw a lot of Americans were mocking the British for their when it was going to be 30 degrees and we were all running around as if it was going to be like hell on earth. I can assure you 30 degrees in the UK is very different from 30 degrees. Well, I can guarantee it's different from 30 degrees in Europe. Well, I imagine Tennessee and Kentucky, yeah, I can imagine they get very humid as well. Well, you're not on the coast, sorry, you've got the mountains, I suppose. But yeah, somewhere like Louisiana or Florida, I can imagine, is quite similar to how it gets here. This morning we'd had 101 Fahrenheit in New York. Blimey, Charlie. Overnight we'd had a lot of rain, so this morning when the sun came out and it was evaporating, it was so sweaty. It was horrible when you go into work. So yeah, it's very grim indeed. But General Dan and I, we survived. These are Victrix, Gruesome Dread. They are Victrix household cavalry, these ones. General Dan and I survived Waterloo. We even managed to get the Eurostar, which is nice, because at the moment the Eurostar is not running, because some people, just people, no descriptions of them, no physical descriptions, stole some wire from the electric cabling. So yeah, no nationalities or ethnicities given on those ones. I did enjoy the Duvel. Yes, it was very nice. Thank you. Although while I was there, I had mostly Waterloo beer because it is the beer of bravery. And I did have a couple of Cherry Creek as well, which I also very much like. So no, it was a good. Beer-wise, General Dan wasn't feeling the beer this time. He didn't. He stayed on the soft drinks because he's sensible like that. But I made the most of my my beer privileges and had as much as I could. Yeah. So we've got the trumpeter already. Now, one of these arms, this one here, is a curved saber. You can see the rest of them are straight. Now, these aren't necessarily how heavy cavalry swords would have been. In fact, this one's actually the other arm, isn't it? So, well, there you go. So they wouldn't have had they would have been hatchet tipped. They would have been much thicker at the end. But you know, it is what it is. It's not the end of the world. They're still pretty nice. So I've gone for these are the lifeguards, and I've gone for them at the charge, and I'm going to do the other ones, the blues. I'm going to do them sort of fighting. So as you can see, this super glue is towards the end of its life. There's some water's got in there somehow. Maybe Duval hit the sunken road and caused disaster in the carriage. I'll tell you what it was in the cabbage field. It was dark, and I didn't realise how. So the wheat was all just flat, but the cabbages were planted in like furrows, or the top of furrows. So that was what scuppered me. It was much to General Dan's hilarity. So he, at least he got something out of it. And given that I made him walk through these fields, it was, yeah. He got his own back on me. So this is the officer. I'm going to do him with his sword upright. So he's leading his men forward rather than being in the charge. I'm thinking I might paint up one of these arms, probably this one. Drill through the hand and turn him into a standard bearer. Now, I know British cavalry didn't carry their colours in the field in Napoleonic times, but they do look much cooler with flags. And obviously the painting Scotland Forever, he is carrying... Sorry, I'm doing this off screen. In the painting Scotland Forever, he is carrying the flag in that. So I've not quite decided whether I'm going to or not yet. But I might leave one of them armless. Question about the lifeguards. Are the first and second lifeguards red tunics and only the blues blue? I'm gonna say yes here, and someone's gonna come on and tell me that that's wrong. I believe so. Yes. If someone's more definitive than that, if Clive, if you're in the comments, then please speak up. But yes, I believe so. I think the lifeguards were in the red. Well, I mean, that's certainly how I've always identified them. The lifeguards in the red and the blues and royals in the blue. So as I say, they were bright. Yeah. Well, they might have been after campaigning. I had a play around with Ask AI the other day to see if it could bring up some quotes and things like that about different units. It was not good. It was not a success. Let's put it that way. So yeah, I asked him about the Brunswickers. I was like, well, look, I've done my research. I'll ask AI. Have you got any quotes about the Brunswickers? And it was going on about how they fought in Germany in 1813. I was like, I'm pretty sure they didn't. So that took me down a whole rabbit hole of finding out what they were up to in 1813. After I finish 2 or 3 more French battalions, it's time to 3 Württembergers. You're treating yourself to the Württembergers. Very nice. I need to really start the epic stuff, or restart my epic stuff. Now this sword here, I'm not actually going to use that one. Looks like he's kind of slashed with it. I thought it was a charging arm when I painted it, but it looks like it's more of a combat arm. So I'll leave that one for now. I want the unit to be charging, and as I say, I'll have the blues doing the feeding. So I bought two bags of these. I painted, I've done some blues here. There's the trumpeter and the horses. But I've sort of concentrated on the lifeguards, and I'm going to go back to the blues once these are done. We're going to do an after-action report on our Salamanca. Oh, fantastic. That is something I will very much like to see. And I don't know if you guys have heard the news. My brother sent me a link yesterday. Wargames Atlantic seem to have the license to do a Sharp-based game. Now, is it going to be as good as Lord of the Sharp? I very much doubt it. However, the figures are licensed to be from the films, I believe. So hopefully we'll see a commercial production of things like the Loot Brigade, or like, you know, Colonel LaRue and people like that. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing those. Now, as you can see, this is one of the downsides of painting on the sprue. You do have a large hole there where the sprue was contacting the arm. Now that's not too bad. I'll just dibble dabble that with a bit of red when the glue is dried. He's a bit high. I'm going to do him going down. I'm modelling these as if they're charging infantry. Derlon's corps as they march up the hill. Lifeguards red, horse guards blue. I mean, that was sort of how I saw it, but I wasn't sure if I was being overly simplistic with that one. So that's good to hear. What rule systems would I recommend for Napoleonics other than black powder? Shaco 2 doesn't seem to be going over well with my group. If you're wanting to do big games, then I like Blucher, but that is like a card, sort of a playing card, represents a battalion. So that's for like big games. If you want to do still like brigade level games, yeah, General d'Armée is not bad. Which one did you say is General d'Armée? That seems to be pretty popular at the moment. Certainly it was popular down at the club. What other sets do I like? I mean, I quite like a very old British set of rules by a company called Newbury that was fast play. Now that was super fast play. I don't think that was as good as Black Powder, but it does have casualty removal. I know some people like that. I'm trying to think of what other ones I've played. I mean, the Bruce Quarry rules are pretty good. If you can get hold of campaigns of Napoleon or Napoleonic Wargaming for fun, I mean, that's an absolute classic book, which I would recommend anyone who's interested in Napoleonics or Wargaming in general buys. But yeah, more modern General d'Armée certainly seems to be very popular. As I say, I actually really like Blucher. I've played it with Alex from Storm of Steel. He's a big fan of it. I think the cards are quite difficult to get hold of these days, though. I think you may have to print them yourself, which is not necessarily the end of the world, because they used to be quite expensive, I seem to remember. I have Mad Unit nameplates and 9. Probably QRS for. Okay, oh, that's cool. 9-page. So it's yeah, okay, fair enough. It's a quick reference supplement. Is that what the S stands for? No. But it's good if you get practicing in your black powder now. You'll be ready for Under Eagles to Glory 3, which I can confirm is happening. I haven't got an exact date yet, but hopefully by the weekend we'll have penciled something in. What is going on? What's going on? Not great, that one. Not super thrilled with that pose. You can be a rear rank guy. Now, because I've painted these ones that I thought were charging arms, but aren't really, I'm going to have to go with these, I think. Let's have a look. I mean, I see this arm more being like down here almost. Yes, I may have boobed there, but that's fine. That is fine. I am going to take that arm off. I don't like it. So as you can see, yeah, I've got some more. I've got some spares here. I'm going to cut this one. In fact, I am. No, I was going to cut it off now and drill it out, but I won't. I won't do that now. So these are our boys. Now, I've also printed out a casualty as well. So I may actually end up having a sort of, if this is the front rank, there's the colonel, there's the trumpeter. Maybe having a casualty going down like that in the front rank. So yeah, so he's a 3D print from I can't remember. There was a Kickstarter that did the British Cavalry, and he was the casualties were part of it. I did try to print off a load more, but unfortunately, the print failed, which is the first failure I've had in a while actually. Let's have a look. Horse guards. So I've got these heads I've done already. Now I've actually painted certain ones for certain people. I believe. Let's have a look. Here we are. So I think they should all have the red around the edges of the caterpillar, but the all red one, I believe that is the musician. So let me have a cheeky scroll down. Yes, it looks like it is. So that's cool. We can pop that one on there. One of the downsides with the Victrix is that they're not as posable as you might think they are. You've got to have certain heads and bodies go with certain people, which is a bit of a shame, I think. But you know, it's how you get such dynamic poses, I suppose, isn't it? So there's got to be a bit of give and take. I think this is reaching the end of the end. Luckily, I have brought a backup because I knew it was on the way out. So here we are. Make a little. This is just a small, like a pack of 5 small tubes I got from the local all-purpose shop we've got down the road. It's called B&M. What I like about these is that when I invariably glue the lid on, I'm not wasting too much glue because they're actually quite small. So I'm just going to make sure I can put it on there. Oh dear, Rubik, I'm sorry to hear that, buddy. I hope you're feeling, I hope you're feeling better now, mate. Yeah, antibiotics are a funny, they're a funny beast. I think we get very used to them, and I think sometimes we don't give them the respect that they deserve. But yeah, no, good to hear you feeling better now. I hope you're resting up and managing to recover, because it's no fun. Right, there we are. There we go. I'm trying to avoid getting super glue everywhere. Have I tried washable resin? Bought an Elegoo Mars the other week and building up, getting around to print some 1812 Russians. I have tried washable resin. One of the regular viewers here, Clive, he absolutely lives by washable resin. I liked how convenient it was. I had more failures with it than I had with regular resin though. So that's probably needs the settings fixing and things like that. But as it was, I just went back to using the regular resin. But certainly using water to wash off your prints is good lord. Why does it take so long to glue? Using water to wash off your prints is definitely an advantage. Sorry about this. It's not that it's sticking to my fingers. I don't know what's going on. There we are. Now the helmets are going to need quite a bit of touching up, I think, but that's not necessarily the end of the world, because they're very, like, at the top of the model. They're literally the heads. They're quite easy to get to, so I don't mind gluing them on before we're necessarily 100% ready to go. Now I have 1/3 more to do before painting. Yeah. Part of your root canal medication. All right. Okay. Yeah. Now you're talking my language, baby. Yeah. No. Again, it's absolutely no fun when it's toothache as well. Yeah. Was it amoxicillin that they gave you? And yes, it's strong stuff. Trying to limit kickback about using the printing house. Yeah, that's the other thing as well, is the water washable stuff doesn't smell as much as the regular stuff. So yeah, no, I would definitely recommend it. If you're starting out with it, then there's going to be a learning process for the printer anyway. So it won't lead to any additional learning time, I don't think, because it'll all be wrapped up in the the learning to use the printer in the first place. So oh yeah, he looks nice, doesn't he? So yeah, I think if I was starting again, I would perhaps use water washable resin from Jump Street, and then it's not a problem to sort of get used to using it or anything like that. There. Right, now we can see the absolute joy of the Victrix construction system here. We have an helmet and an head, and we have to glue the helmet to the head and then the plume to the side of the helmet. It's not great. Now this is actually, I believe, for the officer, because the Sabertash is definitely an officer's one. So let's see what we can do. Now the problem is there's like a tongue and a groove, which is pretty cool, but it means that when you snip it off, you're going to end up with that little bit of flash there. So you need to make sure that you get that off as well. So cutting away from ourselves, because we're sensible, we do that. I am going to use a little bit of glue. Watch our whiskey. Well, I'm not going to give medical advice on the channel, but I wouldn't recommend that. So it was amoxicillin. Yeah, you see, I'm getting there, man. I'm getting there. I look at the dentists at work and I think, you know what? I wonder if I could do a medical degree, and then I think I'd have to look in people's mouths for the rest of my life. I'm I'm all right. I think I'm all right, thanks. I think the only thing that I would think of worse than that is being a podiatrist and just looking at people's feet all day. I just no, thank you. I've done enough foot inspections in the army, thank you. I don't ever want to look at people's feet ever again. I was once on antibiotics, and it was like the course ended on the Saturday, or it was like the Friday, I think it ended. So on the Saturday, I went out with my girlfriend and had like a pint of Hogarden, or 2 pints of Hogarden, and I was absolutely done. I mean, I was done. That's when she woke up. She woke me up, so I got back to the flat and got into bed. And she woke me up. She's like, "Where's your wallet?" And I was like, "It's in my trousers." And she was like, then she woke me up again. She's like, "Where's your phone?" And I was like, "Oh, that's in my trousers, like my other trouser pocket." And then she woke me up a third time to say that she'd ordered pizza. So that was not bad. And then we watched Kill Bill. So yeah, I remember that evening. That was an interesting one. So it would be funny to get all the horse guards for British Force and many of the lifeguards and blues. Well, it would not only be funny, but it would also be absolutely filth on the tabletop as well, because they are very, very strong units. I would argue they're the best cavalry units in the army with the best cavalry in the game, in my opinion. So I would strongly argue that the household cavalry are very, very, very good. That would be my worst job, getting to because you love animals and spend all day putting them to sleep. Yeah, actually, yeah, that's true. Yeah, the whole foot thing. I mean, I know it's like an internet meme, but I just, no, thank you. But yes, no, amoxicillin is hardcore stuff. So I'm going to use the Wraithbone undercoat for these. I know that for two reasons. One, now on the ones I've already done, I used the white one. Now the reason I've gone for the bone colour is in the museum at Waterloo. I was looking at they had a couple of lifeguard helmets, or household cavalry helmets, and they're actually made out of leather, like a boiled leather, so there's a slight sheen to them. So I thought, you know what, actually, this is going to give a slightly bluish look when I use the contrast paint on them. And also, the skin would have needed painting their Wraithbone anyway. So it just gets the job done a little bit sooner. My opponents have 1 Dragoon unit, 1 Hussar, and 1 Chasseurs. And the Brits will have in the game 1 Dragoon Guards, 1 KGL Dragoons, and 1 Light Dragoons. Yeah, well, that's fair enough. Yeah. I would suggest that the Frenchies might need a second unit of Dragoons, but that might make them a little bit too powerful. But no, it looks like you've got a good mix of units there. And more importantly as well, you've got a good mix for painting. You've got the sort of utilitarianism of the Chasseurs. They're a bit boring, but still nice. You can give them some nice bright facings. Same with the Dragoons. And you can go absolutely to town with the Hussars. And the Brits, you've got a nice mixture of, you've got the blue of the Light Dragoons, the dark blue, and you've got the light blue of the Light Dragoons, and you've got the red of the Dragoon Guards. So yeah, again, you've got a nice palette of different colours of different units there. So yeah, no, they're going to look really nice on the tabletop. It's literally impossible for me to eat anything solid for a day because I would instantly vomit. Oh dear. So I just end up drinking water. Yeah, you've got to hydrate yourself when that badness is going around. Is it for a wisdom tooth you're having out? Because if so, when they take it out, you may feel all the stuff coming out of the socket hole as well. So that's something for you to look forward to. Well, the Chasseurs are a large unit, and okay, well, fair enough. And yeah. Well, yeah, that should be a good balance. And actually, I'd be interested to see how large Chasseurs do against a medium-sized British cavalry unit. I think you might be well balanced there. Actually, I think that's probably a good shout. Actually. Just going around here. We're trying to organise a game at the moment with some Romans. So you may see some desperate Roman and Celt painting towards the end of the month. But as always, I will be taking August off for the Sunday videos, but we'll still be doing the live streams where I can. July may also be a bit hectic, so it may end up getting moved to be like half of July and half of August. Because as I say, we've got this new IT system at work, so it may require some late nights, which I'm not looking forward to. So how about anyone else? Is anyone else prepping for any games? You've got anything coming up in these lovely summer months? Or are you doing any terrain or any hobby projects? I'm also working on some Spanish/Italian terrain at the moment. So I'm just I've just started a vineyard that may end up getting its time on a Wednesday, maybe next week. I still need to do a bit more to the basing before it's ready to go on camera yet. I'll go back to Black Powder. How would I improve French heavy cavalry to put their disciples on the battlefield? Which I think, and it was one of your molars. Yeah, well, that's fair enough. I mean, again, that tracks with the amoxicillin. I'm not surprised. Working on stuff for Rob, that I may pivot to Vagram. Oh, very cool. Right, so yeah, the how would I improve the French heavy cavalry? That's a good question, to be honest. I think the main thing would be something to do with their numbers. So maybe they can add 2 to support if they're in the rear, or maybe they can count one of their facings. If they've got 2 units in that facing, they can count that one twice. I think the idea with the French is it's not so much their quality, it was more that they had absolutely tons of it. Although that said, they weren't terrible horsemen, that's for sure. Prepping some 1960s style spies for a 7TV game. You know, I've never played 7TV, but I absolutely love everything about it. I've seen all the like the supplements and things like that. Yeah, no, I do quite fancy playing it. I've just never got around to it. It does look really good fun though. A really good club game, I'd imagine. There we go. That's all those noggins done. Painting up some 6mm Brits and Warlord Epic Royalist Scots for ECW. Yeah, fantastic. I won't allow the NHS to hold digital information on me. No to Blair's digital ID. Yeah, no, fair enough. We've started handing out new questionnaires that has have you recently given birth is one of the questions. And it always amuses me when you give it to like an 80-year-old woman or an 80-year-old man or something like that. Have you recently given birth? I don't think so. It doesn't go over well with the senior citizens. I think it's safe to say they are not hugely impressed. Working on Winter 1812 Rushkies. I'm trying to take on Ian's French at the Swansea Wargames Club. Nice. Moving on from our Spanish versus French phase. Okay, well, as the winter comes in, you can seek colder climes, I suppose. I'm looking at my Cossacks in front of me, actually. I need to base them. Now, I'm just doing a little bit of white because I've noticed that the straps haven't all been highlighted. So I'm just going to quickly go over them. What time are we on? Half past 6. So we've still got half an hour to go. I'm trying not to do super detailed stuff that I have to concentrate on, so I can keep half an eye on the chat as well. So those of you who've seen the Waterloo video, was there any anything that you wanted any more clarity on, or you think it's something that General Dan and I missed? Or so I'm aware that only part 1's gone out, so we've covered the western part of the battlefield. So from basically Le Haisson, or the road, out to the west. So that's like Hougoumont, where the Imperial Guard charge came in, and of course the French cavalry charge as well, through to the centre. So yeah, we've not anything that's like Papillote or Le Haisson or anything like that. That's still to come. But yeah, is there anything that you think we missed, or that you enjoyed seeing, or anything that surprised you? So I mean, I kept saying it in the video, and I'm sure it got quite repetitive and boring. But the size of the battlefield really did surprise me. I didn't do much filming in the museum, Michael. I took quite a few pictures, but they've got the big diorama in the entrance, so I filmed that. I didn't want to do any audio at the time because I wanted to. Obviously, I didn't want people to think it was a professional filming. Now, if they'd seen my channel, they would fully appreciate that it was not that I am not professional in any way. But I don't think they would have known that at the time. So it's similar with a tripod. At the pyramids, you could film pretty much what you wanted, but if you tried to set up a tripod, then they'd all descend on you and tell you that you weren't allowed to film. So I thought there was well, thank you, Luke. So I can see on how close they were. Yeah, I mean, it's weird because I've been before, but it was for the 200th anniversary, and I think I was more focused on the reenactment, the reenactors, the experience of being in effectively the 19th century. I didn't really take in the battlefield that well. Certainly going this time with a bit more time, and going in with General Dan, who was able to point out things. General Dan, particularly his knowledge on day 2, was particularly useful, because I didn't really know anything about Papillote, so I was learning it as Dan was teaching me. So that was nice. And we certainly, yeah, as I say, I think it was something I'd not really seen before. We walked down to the Belle Lyons, which took us about an hour when I went in 2015. But it was because you were stopping to look at the reenactors and things like that. So it actually felt like it was a fair distance away. But I think General Dan and I probably could have walked back this time in 15 minutes. I think we could have got from the Belle Lyons to the Butte de Lyon. So it just goes to show really how close they were. Maybe 20 minutes. And we're not exactly peak physical specimens either. So yeah. I enjoyed the panoramic views in your first video. Yeah, no, it would have. Yeah, I mean, once I got up the Lion Mound, I was definitely going to make the most of it, because I wasn't going up again. That's for sure. You feel that the French should have some rules for their coordination discipline? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, which is why I think I tend to go with a bonus to their supporting abilities, not necessarily their fighting prowess. They're actually not bad fighters. They can be pretty good. But yes, I think something like a small buff to do with supporting units, I think, would be cool. Last time I was at Hougoumont, I had a photo taken with Phil Harding. Yeah, very cool. Yeah, Hougoumont was good. I've not been there before. We didn't make it for the anniversary. So yeah, that was good. Again, that was a lot smaller than I expected it to be. I've got the old 15mm model from Wargames Illustrated, and it looks massive, but it's not really when you're in there. But that said, there's a castle near me called Conisbrough Castle, and for ages I was saying to my girlfriend, yeah, let's have a day out at Conisbrough Castle. It's really cool. So we got there, and I'm like, it definitely used to be bigger than this. So I mean, obviously it hadn't. I'd got a lot bigger, so the castle had got a lot smaller. But yeah, no, that was really disappointing. Now this guy's bag I've left white because I just wanted to wash that with a brown just to get a bit of colour on there. But I didn't want it to be the same bone colour as I've done these guys. Just because he's the musician, the trumpeter, I wanted him to stand out a little bit more. Now this surprised me. His saddle cloth is blue. Now I had originally painted it red, but even for the lifeguards, it looks like it's blue. So that would make sense because royal regiments did wear blue facings. So that would make sense. Now I'm actually going to paint the emblem white because it's actually a yellow. It's quite a light yellow. I'm not sure if it will be gold. I don't think so. So I'm going to paint it white because yellow doesn't cover, well, anything very well, particularly. It certainly won't cover a dark colour like this blue very well. So we'll paint that white, and then that'll give us a nice base coat for when we're painting the emblem on. This is at least €1,000. Blimey, Charlie. So you guys are really going for it. So, well, in that case, I'm definitely glad I can help out with some reinforcements. So I will definitely get those in the post to you. Your video makes a great accompaniment to Mark game room videos leading to a what if about chasing Blucher. Well, we've done thank you. We've done the campaign where the Duke of Wellington died at Quatre Bras. So we did our own version of what would happen there and chasing Blucher. So we thought in the end the British would probably retreat to Antwerp and the Prussians would fall back. So after our Leipzig game, not Leipzig, after our Linney game, the Prussians took an absolute beating from the Imperial Guard, but the Imperial Guard took a beating in return. So we allowed the Prussians to fall back in reasonably good order. They had a corps that wasn't committed, so they could easily have fallen behind them, and that corps could have formed the rear guard. So we ended up swapping effectively Waterloo and Wavre, where Waterloo was the holding action, and Wavre was the where the main force of the Army of the North went against. So yeah, I think they worked really well. In the end, the French won. I think they won all the battles in that campaign, but they took so many casualties doing it that we basically said, look, they've won the war, they've won the battles, but lost the war. They were very Pyrrhic victories. 95 degrees in Maryland. Ooh, blimey. Blimey. 95 Fahrenheit Celsius, 35 degrees. Ugh, rather you than me, I have to say. Now, Maryland, that is on the coast, isn't it? So that's got to be pretty humid there as well, surely. Having typed out the units, I realise it's epic. Yeah, 41 units with 4 artillery, 6 cavalry, 1 tiny riflers, 4 cavadore, 2 light battalions, 24 line battalions. That's absolutely awesome, man. That's going to look great. Yeah. Make sure that you send plenty of photos in, because that's going to be an achievement. I'm looking forward to this Leipzig game. It's looking like I may have to take a rain check on it because Belgium was a bit more expensive than I thought it was going to be. So it might be a question of Glasgow is also very expensive. Glasgow is a lot more expensive than I expected it to be. So yes, no, we'll have to see what's going on with that one. The train's okay. The train fare is not too bad, but the hotels are very expensive in Glasgow. I couldn't believe it. So I've already highlighted most of these straps. Basically what I've done is I've highlighted them, then washed them down with the white. So I'm just going back up, picking up the lightest parts of them. I probably should have done this before. Well, I don't know, actually. I probably should have done this before I painted the red, but having said that, I would have actually been very, very careful with the red. So, yeah, I don't know, maybe. I have to say, there's a lot more to do on these than I thought there was. I thought they were like 90% done, but when I got them out of the bag at the weekend, I realised they were about 60% done. So, But we're getting there. We're getting there. We've done the horses. That's the important thing, because everyone hates doing horses. So, good evening, Interguard mod. You are doing some Highlanders. Ooh, fantastic. 1/72nd scale as well. Are they? What manufacturer are they? Are they Hat or are they? Is it Airfix that do Highlanders? I think. A local charity shop down the road this morning had the Italieri command set in the window in 1/72nd scale. I meant to tell my dad actually, but I forgot. Oh, Italieri. Oh, right, cool. Yeah. Very nice. Imrahill managed to finally put some of my pinch force on the table in action. Oh, fantastic. How did they get on? I've also just received my Imrahill of Dol Amroth model as well. So, well, not just. I got it the weekend on Monday. But I've not even opened the box yet. Or tested the dice. I need to make sure that the dice work. Just getting that little belt down here done. There's this strap here that holds the cartridge box. Now, one thing I'm not sure, Clive, you may know this. Is there a should there be an emblem on the cartridge box as well? Should there be like the star or something on there, or is it just plain? I'd imagine that it's supposed to have an emblem on. Then I would have also thought there's supposed to be an emblem on there. They would have modelled it on. So a garter star it is, right? I thought that could be. I'll go back in and dob that on then. Yep, he's looking good. So he's got these ones to do. I think these have already been done. As I say, I have done some of these already. His hand he's doing. There we go. You already found catch barcodes to include a rule in my own games that commanders who were not casualties historically could not be KIA. Yeah, I mean, that's fair enough because I think it would change. It does change the campaign completely, particularly for someone like Wellington, I think, because he did keep his plans close to his chest. So yeah, I think someone like him, his death would have a huge difference. I mean, you can always say, look, if they're killed, then they're actually just wounded. And again, you know, there is historical precedence, right? You say, look, yeah, they're killed effectively, you know, in inverted commas, and they're just like Blucher when he was trapped under his horse at Linney. So you can, yeah, I mean, you can just say that as well. So, no, wait, it isn't a regal coat of arms. Oh, right, okay, so it's a coat of arms. Well, it's going to be a gold blob, Clive, is what it's going to be, or maybe it's a silver one. I can't promise it's going to be any more than that, I'm afraid. No, I did bring up another paint, I think. No, I didn't. Okay, interesting. What are you? Yes. So while we're here, I've got another noggin to do there. So yeah, as you can see, I'm absolutely all over the place. I had a bit of a tidy up before I went away, and I just haven't had time to sort everything out since I've been back. Unfortunately, because I've been away, that's meant that everything that normally gets done has just piled up for me to do when I get back. So it's not been ideal, I have to say. But we are where we are. How long have I got? I've got 10 minutes. So do I have the time? I'm thinking, I'm thinking I might glue the blues onto their horses. I don't know if I'm going to have time. And there, make sure it all gets in there. When you're using contrast paints, I assume it's the same with speed paints. The quality of the base coat is the most important thing. So, another Lifeguards pro tip: they didn't carry carbines into battle. That is good news because I wasn't going to glue them on anyway because That's another element that I really can't be asked to do. So that's good to know, Clive. Thank you very much. It's not that I can't be bothered. It's that I'm making sure they are historically accurate. That's what I'm going with anyway. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I've also got a hack for the Gauls as well, but I would have some Gaul to use that. Ha 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 ha. But I'll let you know when I've picked them up. Cuesta charged division and a half's worth of Spanish frontally into Polish lines after sitting around for half a dozen turns. Okay, but it works. All right, okay, fair enough. The rest of the French corps gave the British a bloody nose, though. Well, I mean, yeah, fair enough. Okay, what, he broke through the poles, did he? The old Vistula Legion, I bet they weren't thrilled by that. But having said that, Dan's guerrillas ridiculously outperform whenever he uses them. So yeah, I can't believe that the Spanish are bringing home the bacon, the jambon, as it were. Now there's a bit too much water on this brush, but having just said how important it is to have a decent base coat, I've just done an absolutely terrible one. So 213th AIB. Did you just say that they could be wounded, or what was your run? Or did you just not roll for them in the first place? Which I guess is another way of doing it, I suppose, isn't it? Here we go. Right, so that was not quite as successful as I'd hoped. I was hoping to get all of the arms done, but if we look at the arms, you get... Oh, see, I've already done the charging ones. Blue there as well. I'm hoping then there's some I haven't done. Let's have a look. I may just repaint those blue ones red. Let's have a double check on these. Let's see if we can use these somehow. You see, I'm just sort of holding it in place with my thumb, just to get an indication of how the swords are. Like I say, for me, these look more like a slash, so you'd have them sort of... maybe not that one. Let's see what they're like that. The fact that the elbow is bent is what's turning me off them being charged. When you're charging with a saber like that, you would want your elbow straight. You'd want it straight out, not bent, or certainly not as bent as these ones are. So let's put them on there. These guys can always go in the back rank if I don't like the look of them. If I don't like the cut of their jibs. I'm not sure how much you would put your sword over the neck of your horse as well. I know you would have done with lancers, but sabers, not so sure. It was 4 Warsaw battalions against 8 Spanish ones. A very surprised Spanish one. That's it, man. Yeah, you know, it is a dice game at the end of the day. I think they're as good as Zvezda Polish Lancers, which is saying a lot because I managed. Yeah, the Zvezda models in general are just absolutely gorgeous, aren't they? Yeah, some boxes of Italieri, sorry, French Dragoons and Carabiniers lying around. They are very nice. Yeah. I wonder if General Dad's got any lying around up here. He might do, you know. But yeah, it's a shame about Zvezda because they are absolutely fantastic models. They really, really are. It's a shame old Pooty Poot didn't think about that. A friend of 40k player can't understand why I have Spanish alongside my Brits when I know they're awful. Well, you see, that's it. Yeah, you know, one day they will be. And the thing is with it as well is, so in 40k you have units that are there to do objectives. Things like retrieve Nachman data or whatever that is these days. So you do have units that aren't very good, but they have a specific role, and that's, you know, with the Spanish, you stick them in a village or something like that, and they're going to be pretty hard to. Well, I mean, they're going to be just as hard to evict as anyone else. It's not like they've got a lower morale than anyone else. They've got a lower save. They'll only be saving on a 3-up instead of a 2-up. But even when you're saving on a 2-up, you usually lose the combat anyway due to combat res. Right, I've just seen my camera is just decided that it's down to 5% battery. So I'm going to keep on going. There's only 4 minutes till 7 o'clock. No stops till Brooklyn. So I'm going to try and get through to 7. But if we just suddenly disappear, then I'm afraid the battery is kaput. Now I don't know why it's used so much battery. It was on over 50% when I started, but it may be time to get a new camera, I think. And then we'll have this one here. Now he is going to be over the neck of his horse because he's leaning. In fact, I'm going to have him down. In fact, no. He can be the standard bearer. So I'll brush that off. He can be the standard. I got a bit carried away there, didn't I? Right, let me see if I've got some. If General Dad's got some Italian. He's got some samurai with no dachi from Victrix. Let's see. He's got a box here that's marked French Cav. Let's see if there's any. Nope, he's just got Chasseur Cheval in there by the looks of it. What's in there? No, it doesn't look like he's got any hand at the moment, I'm afraid. But yeah, no, well, that's it, Clive. I know they didn't have the flags, and having just said that the no carbine thing was me being historically accurate, yeah, whatever. I'm I'm gonna give them flags. So also, Talia have a French command. Yeah, they're really nice. Yeah, they are a great set. I put them up against guard, toughen them up. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can add the Spanish in, just keep them away from the fighting, and they certainly bulk up the numbers. Just thought, but it's possible to fit 30 Spanish infantry battalions in 600 police. Well, there you go. I mean, yeah, I'm not saying that's a terrible idea. But yes, I mean the Spanish can still perform. Dan, his guerrillas really did perform against me, so I can attest to that. But I'm going to knock it on the head there, guys. The camera is literally about to die. It's on 1%. But thank you very much for joining me today. I know it's been a bit disjointed, but I hope to see you next time. Part 2